The last generation of the Ford Focus RS is one of the most iconic hot hatchbacks for a slew of reasons. One of those reasons that this car is very well known for is something that Ford loves to call drift mode. Now, in today's video, I really want to explain to you guys what drift mode is and explain to you how an all-wheel drive hot hatchback can turn basically into a full-on drift car. Let's go ahead and hop into this video. So first off, we got to talk about the platform of the Ford Focus RS. So this generation of the Focus came out in about 2012, 2013. And what it was a basically just an econo box little hatch or a sedan or whatever you wanted to use it as. Then they released the Focus ST, which was a sort of Volkswagen Golf GTI competitor, because what it did was it added a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder front-wheel drive stick shift with about, I want to say, 190, 200 horsepower. Very fun car, really fun around town, very zippy, and of course, tons of modification potential. But then, Volkswagen came out with the Golf R in about 2015, which was their newest addition to the Golf R platform, which was a much faster all-wheel drive, just version of the GTI. And of course, Ford couldn't just stay back and not compete. What they had to do was basically create a Golf R killer or a Golf R competitor, whatever you want to call it. Thus, this thing was born. This right here in front of us, specifically this car, is a 2017 Ford Focus RS. Now, the RS came out for the 2016 model year in the United States, and as I said, it was basically bred to destroy the Golf R. What this thing is a 330 horsepower turbocharged 2.3-liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder with all-wheel drive with a 6-speed manual. This thing is an absolute beast. So the RS was really, it is really just the top, or the most aggressive, the most driver-focused, track-focused Focus that Ford builds. Now, of course, they couldn't just create something that was, just a little 4-cylinder with all-wheel drive. They had to create something that really knocks it out of the park. Thus, drift mode on the Focus RS was born. What is drift mode, you may be asking? Well, what it does is, first off, to activate it, you have to be, obviously the car has to be on, and there's a button down here. It's called the drive mode button. So there's 4 different drive modes that Ford added specifically for the RS. Now, what it is it usually starts off with being in normal mode, which is just everything's normal. The suspension is in normal. Basically, the aggressiveness of the all-wheel drive system, the way the engine performs, is everything's in normal. You click it one over, and that's sport mode. It basically gives it a more aggressive exhaust. The all-wheel drive system becomes more aggressive and just basically becomes a sportier version. Of course, track mode is everything's turned up to 11. It's in, everything's on sport, the suspension, the all-wheel drive system, and turns off traction control. But the funnest one is definitely this one right here. So drift mode. Now, what drift mode is basically Ford's way of saying, yeah, this thing competes with the Golf R, but it basically just blows it out of the water in terms of being a fun tuner car, right? So what drift mode does is it'll stiffen up the dampers on the suspension. It'll basically allow the all-wheel drive system to provide more torque to whatever wheel is spinning the most, to allow you obviously to spin, basically making it a rear-wheel drive car while being all-wheel drive, if that makes any sense. Really cool system, very ingenious, and it's insane. I can't do anything with it right now. I can't demonstrate it because it's not my car and I don't want to break it, but basically what it does is, imagine a Focus RS doing this. So let me throw in a picture right here, kind of what it is. It basically turns this car into a mini Initial D Formula drift car. Now, I don't want to get any hate in the comments. It's not a drift car. This thing is still a all-wheel drive hot hatchback, but the fact that you could disable or basically tell the all-wheel drive system you want it to drift essentially is awesome. Ford really did innovate the system. Mercedes has a system with their E63, the W213, which is a similar thing. It'll cut off power, basically send all the power to the rear wheels to let it spin. But this thing is really what kind of pioneered it with the hot hatchback segment, because I do believe now the Golf has it, but it wasn't around when this thing was. This thing really was the first hot hatchback with the system, and it's awesome. Honestly, it is a different kind of breed. And I want you guys to let me know if you guys have ever owned a Focus RS, or if you've ever been in one of these, or if you've ever used drift mode. Let me know what you guys think. It's a really ingenious system of basically allowing this car to become a rear-wheel drive drift car while still maintaining its all-wheel drive prowessness. So let me know down below, you guys. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about the Focus RS drift mode? Is it cool? Is it just sort of a gimmick? Or do you think Ford really actually killed it when it came to this platform? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.